Very touchy.
Yeah, music is powerful stuff. Yeah, music, powerful stuff. Welcome to MIPS.
You're watching Music It's Powerful Stuff, live at District Recording in San Jose. I'm your host, Mike Park, and today's guest is punk quartet from Santa Cruz, California, SCOWL. We have Malachi, Kat, Bailey, and Cole. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. Today is actually the day after Christmas. How was everybody's Christmas?
It was cool.
It was lovely.
It was all right.
All right. Amazing. So how did the band get together?
Do you want to do this one?
Sure. I wasn't there.
Kat said she wanted to be in a band, so I was like, all right, let's be in a band. And then I bought a guitar and started making songs in my bedroom. And then Cole is stuck playing music with me for all of eternity, so he didn't have a choice, but he had to drum in the band. And then
It's pretty true. Yeah.
Bailey was like, just kind of, I don't know, we met Bailey and thought he'd work in the band. And then, yeah.
We had a few other bass players before Bailey, and
They're
What
like
happened?
filling in. Well,
Yeah.
they just filled in.
they just filled
weren't
in.
like-
They weren't actually official members. Yeah.
Tim from
Well,
Drain played bass like the first couple shows, and then Jarrett from Lead Dream filled in on like a tour, and then Bailey I was like, Bailey, you should play bass.
I don't know how you knew who I was, and I didn't know how any of you knew I played bass. Like, I think that's so funny. One day you messaged me, you're like, do you want to play bass in SCOWL? And I was like, oh, you're fucking with me. Like, who? I was like, you don't know who I am. How, like, I thought it was, like, so fucking funny. Like, I just showed up one day, and I, like, kind of knew the songs already, and you guys were like, nice to meet you. I thought it was, like, weird.
You just seem not like annoying.
I
Like you just seems like kind of fun to hang out
oh,
with.
if only we knew.
So like I was like, oh, like they could play the songs and they
Good.
seem pretty chill, so they should just play in the band. So that was
That's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically how it came to me.
But why do you guys claim Santa Cruz and not also San Jose?
We
claim
do
both.
kinda.
But I looked it up, and it's like clearly says Santa Cruz when you look up SCOWL.
But it says 40831.
Technically, at the time, 3 of us lived in Santa Cruz at the time, and Bailey worked in Santa Cruz, so it just kind of made it easier. But
Most of the
I
time,
lived in Santa Cruz at the time, so
yeah, majority was Santa Cruz. But now when we play shows, when I introduce the band in the beginning, like I usually try to say we're from Santa Cruz and San Jose. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but
Hell yeah.
probably
But,
even
like-
easier to just say the Bay Area. But
yeah,
we're I don't know.
Santa.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the
man,
problem.
that's
There's
fair.
a lot of little, yeah, it's politics.
Politics.
I like that you are saying San Jose because San Jose gets. I feel like Bailey. I'm gonna ask you this question. Don't you think San Jose gets the short end of the stick if you look on a national level? Like you don't look at San Jose and go.
It's ridiculous. It's terrible how much people don't want to even claim San Jose as like where they're from. Like you look at huge bands and they just say Bay Area, and people just think, oh, probably San Francisco, and I'm like, no, hell no. I live, 35 minutes away with no traffic. Or if you're from here and you know how to drive, on the freeway and go crazy, I can get to San Francisco.
Who are the
in
bands that
30 minutes.
are scared to claim San Jose? Let's
Oh,
call them out, Cole.
I don't. Who's scared to? No one now, at least.
I will say in my like heyday of, reading books about hardcore music and, in America and stuff, there's like such a brief moment of bringing up the Bay Area and specifically San Jose and the Bay. But it's such a tiny little sliver of information. They don't really give much.
I think it's bullshit that people don't claim San Jose. I don't even live in San Jose right now, and I claim San Jose.
Agreed, 100%.
We claim everyone in our group of friends all claim San Jose.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Very
every
proudly.
hardcore band from
Very
San Jose
proudly.
claims San Jose.
Oh heck yeah!
And we are lucky enough that since we share members, we get to say both Santa Cruz and San Jose. But
They're the two best cities in the area. Is Santa
In the
Cruz
world.
and San Jose. Both.
there's
You
a
know,
lot of pride in our scene. That's
There's
why we
tons.
have the 2 area codes connected, and we all rep it.
Mike, who are some of your favorite San Jose or Santa Cruz bands?
Smash Mouth,
Hell yes.
Doobie Brothers,
Hell yes.
Smash Mouth. Singer of Smash Mouth solo. No, who San Jose?
What
who
about
do I
No
love?
Use for a Name? Are you a No Use for a Name fan?
Man, No Use for a Name is a
The drummer
pretty
of
good
Smash
band.
Mouth went to the same high school as me.
For
Not at
which-
the same time, but
Oh.
That'd be weird if it was at the same time.
that'd be pretty funny. Lee High School.
Yeah, I think it's like, obviously I love Shinobu, Hard Girls. That scene
Oh yeah.
was very instrumental for not only me, but for Asian man. And I think for a lot of people your age too.
Oh yeah, those were like the coolest shows when I was first coming around. It was like all the fat and funky stuff that was happening. It was like
Exactly.
killer. Like, yeah.
Exactly. So would you guys rather be called a punk band or a hardcore band?
Oh.
We're hardcore punk.
Hardcore
Ooh.
punk.
If we had to pick, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd probably just rather be called a hardcore band.
Okay.
But we're more punk
But
than.
no, obviously no diss to punk. I'd rather be called a hardcore band.
No.
I feel like it's a
what does
blanket
Kat have
term.
to say about
Okay,
that?
personally, I think a hardcore band because I have a lot of pride for hardcore because hardcore is stuck so true and authentic, in my opinion at least, to like the culture it originated from. While I love punk music and punk music is like my favorite kind of music, I don't identify with it nearly as the same way that I identify with hardcore. I think the labels are interchangeable when it comes to genre because punk is such a large blanket, but I don't identify with the way that punk is today and on a commercial level.
Got it. Very cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was gonna say like, punk hardcore is punk and punk is hardcore. Like if you don't listen to punk, but you say you listen to hardcore, like you're not getting the full spectrum of things. Because when I
Yeah.
was growing up, I thought hardcore bands that are considered hardcore were I just called them punk. So like, I think that it's all like interchangeable, like the words, but the DIY hardcore scene is where we kind of live, you know. So like, that's what we relate to that a lot, like, and we're very involved in that scene. So
Well, I think right now too, because there's such a big spotlight on like the Santa Cruz, San Jose hardcore scene, underground DIY. You can call it a million things, but I think on like a big like national level, this is one of the most punk times that hardcore's been in such a long time. That I think that's what some of the success is kind of where some of the success comes from.
Agreed.
Like, because I mean, when I was coming to shows, hardcore didn't sound like punk at all to me. Hardcore was like all just chug breakdowns, like dudes with like hair in front of their eyes like this, and it was not punk at all to me. The attitude wasn't punk, the ethos or anything. Musically, sonically, it just wasn't. So it took me a long time to actually kind of do my homework and trace back the roots of hardcore and see where it spun off of punk and how, like Malachi said, I do often use the terms interchangeably a lot.
Sure.
So that's why I think a lot of the success right now is it comes from.
That's
Like,
awesome.
yeah.
Kat, what's the first song we're going to listen to?
Bloodhound, I guess.
Bloodhound, live.
I
District
guess.
Recording.
I guess Bloodhound, I guess.
That was Bloodhound by SCOWL live at District Recording in San Jose. That was great.
Thank
You guys
you.
have fun? It's a little cold in the studio right now.
Yes.
Are you freezing?
No, I feel great.
I feel
Yes.
wonderful.
Both.
Heck yeah.
But I'm always cold. So
So like if you look at historically at hardcore, it's obviously is I would say a pretty male dominated scene. And obviously with Kat being a front person, how do you feel being an icon almost? I've talked to a lot of young girls who are just really like stoked about SCOWL. They're just like, oh my God, I love SCOWL. And it's really cool to hear from my standpoint.
it's really surreal. It's like really cool that people are finding like, you know, are finding themselves relating and also like feeling maybe I don't want to use the word represented, but I think it's cool that there's a lot of young feminine individuals who are like relating to me and like feel like they identify with the way that I identify and like in the spaces that we're at. And like I know that's a lot of big words, but basically it's just it just feels kind of crazy because personally, like I was never really like someone who performed a lot or, you know, put myself out there that way. I've been a bit more on the shy side until we did this band. And so it's just, yeah, it just doesn't feel real, but it's really cool. It's really flattering and like, it's a good feeling.
Heck yeah. You should be super proud. When I heard, like, it's happened to me twice where we have a lot of young volunteers come in. I ask them, you know, just totally coincidental. I'm like, what bands do you like? They're like, oh, I love this band called SCOWL.
That's
And I'm
crazy.
all, that's awesome.
Wow.
And they're
That's so cool.
And I asked why, and they're like, there is such a strong female front person in this band, and it's just very empowering. And to hear those words is really exciting for me, just because it's something that I've always been, just as a person of color myself, you don't see a lot of Asian Americans in any kind of rock-based music. So any kind of diversity for me is very exciting. So applause for you.
Thank you so
And
much.
your band.
I
I should
really
have put the
appreciate it.
record out.
I was going to say that. So let's say example.
Sorry, Mike.
I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. Have you guys played Cleveland?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Hook us up.
When you go, you can go for free. You just say you're a band on tour, and they'll
Oh,
let
that's
you in
cool.
free.
Whoa, really?
We gotta do that.
It's awesome. So I was like going around looking at little displays, and I saw a letter from Capitol Records to U2, and it said, you know, sorry, but we just don't feel like you're the right fit for us. We're going to pass. And so, like, I was going to ask you, has there ever been a label that passed on you that regretted it?
Asian Man Records.
So Asian Man Records passed on SCOWL.
I don't know if you really passed us. I just want to give you a hard time.
No, I did.
Because okay, good.
I
No-
did.
Okay, now it begins. So the interview starts.
And I regretted it.
See, well, I didn't know if you regretted it. I thought you were like, thank God.
So the
I just want to give you a hard
is-
time because I can't beat you at basketball. I've never been able to beat you at basketball, so I'm mad.
No, but you're not very good. That's the problem.
I'm horrible at basketball.
No, but so this is the reason. There's a couple variables of why I didn't choose to work with SCOWL. One was because my mental health was spiraling downward. I didn't want to work with anybody. I was like, no. And then the second thing was, if we're gonna be perfectly honest, like the first song I heard was so heavy. I was like, this is way too heavy for me. And I felt like, if anything, it would be a detriment to the band to be on Asian Man, because our demographic, you would not hit the right demographic. So if anything, I did you a favor.
Whatever you tell yourself. we were going to challenge you to a game of basketball. I told Bailey, we were like, yo, we should just challenge him to a game of basketball, and if we win, he has to do it.
Yeah.
But we were game planning. We were like, all right, like we're going to have to like push him down or something, because I hear he's really good, and he's taller than us. So,
But it's funny. So Randy, who's in the Moore family band,
Love Randy.
he told me, he's like,
Shout out, Randy.
you've got to do this.
Oh, really?
And I said, I'm crazy. I can't take on any more work. And so, but now when he sees me, he always rubs it in and says, I told you.
Thank you, Randy.
So that's the story. There's SCOWL. There's only two bands I really regret passing on, and the other one, At the Drive-In.
Whoa. That's crazy. I did not know that.
Just a tear going down the cheek.
I had no idea.
Both cheeks. The SCOWL and At the Drive-In. The second song is called
Four Walls.
Four Walls.
Four walls.
Live at District Recording. That was Four Walls with SCOWL live at District Recording. I wanted to get back and ask you guys just about like touring, especially during the pandemic. I know that the band had kind of started out a little bit, not much before the pandemic hit. And then as basically everything shut down, how did that affect you as a band to progress?
We wrote the LP. So
Yeah.
everything shut down, so we just wrote the LP.
We started like basically exactly 1 year before the pandemic and toured and wrote we released 2 EPs like in that first year. And yeah, like we just toured as much as we possibly could to the point where we literally toured up until like the day before lockdown happened the first time. And yeah, it literally hit us and we were like, okay, well, we have nothing else to do, so we may as well write an album. And we had it recorded within like 4 months.
That's great. And as soon as the doors started opening for chances to play live again.
Oh, immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
We were biting the bit. We were ready to go. I was tired of losing my mind, you know.
Sure.
Everyone was, I'm sure, but
So that experience, because I feel like you were one of the few bands that really started to play when things were opening up, especially like DIY shows and huge DIY shows.
yes.
Did you see, like, from your eyes, like the crowd just hungry for live music?
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh,
It was kind of scary. It felt like we were going to get eaten alive, like that very first show. At least I did, and I kind of like checked out, like, because it had been so long since we played a show to begin with. So there was all those nerves, that like anticipation of like, what is this going to feel like again? And within like the first 30 seconds, it felt exactly like the same thing I had been doing, like no time had passed, but everyone was losing their mind. And it wasn't just because of us, it was because they were ready, you know? So I don't want to give us the credit, but it was crazy. It was nuts.
It was, yeah, the footage I saw, that's when I was starting to go, gosh darn it.
Yeah, that first show, the one in San Jose that we did, the RBS
yeah.
show, there was like over 2,000 people there, right? And
It looked wild.
They wanted it so bad, man. They were playing like DMX and Power Trip on like just the PA before it even started, and people started moshing and like stage diving to that. And some guy like broke his head open, he like smashed his
dear.
face open
His face was
to a
bleeding.
sound check.
Whoa.
And then my parents were like just sitting there talking to me, and I looked at them, I was like, I don't know how to follow that up. And they laughed. They told me to shut the hell up. But,
I love it.
that was crazy. But touring during the pandemic, I mean, just in the last week, we did the tour with Comeback Kid, No Warning, and Zulu, a little West Coast. and we had to cancel that, a little over halfway through because of COVID.
Sure.
Well, half of us got it. We had to just drive straight home from Seattle, miss work for another week after just taking that time off. It was so stressful. It's so
course.
crazy, but you can't beat yourself up too much about it because I don't know, so many people got COVID in this last month during Christmas time.
Exactly. It seems like so many. I keep hearing of more bands that are dropping off tour, canceling tours, coming down COVID positive. It's terrible, especially for an industry that's so reliant on live music to pay your bills. If we're talking about like bigger bands who rely on it, who haven't been paid in 2 years, all these tours getting canceled is crushing. So, running out of batteries? Okay. Last song is
Seeds to Sow.
live district recording. Again, thank you so much for coming. I hope you had a good time.
We had a wonderful time. Thank you.
It was awesome.
Last question.
Kind of.
Is it true that Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit is a fan of SCOWL?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
That is
It's kind of a crazy
amazing.
truth.
I love it. I love it.
He's sick.
So all I can hope for is a SCOWL Limp Bizkit tour. My least favorite band in the world is probably Limp Bizkit, but the fact that you would go on tour with them would be so exciting to me that I will be front and center. That's
You
a
got
lie.
guest list
I'll,
every
I'll be backstage,
Yeah.
hanging
let's
out,
get
eating
you
your
on
food.
You'll be a Limp Bizkit fan by the end of that show.
You gotta give him the mic.
Let's-
You'll be singing all the words. I know you will.
Let's get you to play
Is
sax.
this one of those days, Mike?
Oh yeah, hell
for
yeah.
us.
Again, thank you so much for coming, and everyone, SCOWL live at District Recording in San Jose. Peace.
Thank you.
Bye.